Today we welcome Mr. Tarun Seth to our show Amazing Mentor. Mr. Tarun Seth is founder of Micro Clinic Pvt Limited known as Hitachi Sister Micro Clinic. He had received Young Entrepreneur Award from India Today, President Circle Award from Dell Technology in 2019 and 2017. Hitachi Sister Micro Clinic has an employee base of 2000 plus across 21 branches and 180 plus service locations in India, Middle East and Southeast Asia. It's a pleasure to welcome Mr. Tarun Seth to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So tell us about your childhood and any childhood memory which you like to share.
See, as I said, I was born in a joint family and my mother was very clear that I should go to a convent school, even though my father's salary in 63-64 was $250. That's what he tells me now. But my mother insisted that I should go in a convent school, and my sister also goes to a convent school. So I studied in Columbus from KG to 12th, and I did commerce as my subject. I was a very active sports person. I was on the Delhi state hockey team. I was the fastest runner in 1977. Bonvita used to run this racing competition, so I used to be the fastest runner in Delhi. Right. And hockey, as I told you, I was an all-rounder in terms of, I was very poor in studies, right? I still show my report cards to my children, which is torn by my father. There's a tape on it that you will not pass and you will fail starting from class 6 to class 10 to class 9. 10, 11, 12, I studied hard, so I did well. I got a first division, got into Bhagat Singh College, did my BCom honors, and then joined. So journey has been nice. My parents really took care and made sure that at least the basic education which is required to be what you are tomorrow is given. So I'm thankful to them for doing that. And then once your wife comes, then the journey gets to your wife. So if she's good, your journey is good. If she's bad, your journey is going to be horrible. Right? Because she has to understand the pros and cons of business. There'll never be ups, there'll be always ups and downs. So if the family is adjustable to that, yes, you'll succeed. If they're cribbing every time that why you're not doing well today, without understanding what's the market scenario, then it's a doomsday. So I always say parents play an important role, and in the later part, your wife plays an important. So both of them are very important in your life. So if anybody put obstacles for you, God forbid, you're going to fail.
Any childhood memory you would like to share with the audience?
Oh, childhood memories are many. I was a very naughty kid, meaning I used to be very, very naughty, and my mother always used to tell me that you will never be able to control people because you're always naughty. So I always used to play on people, and God forbid, I was lucky nobody objected to whatever I did to them. But yes, I was very naughty.
Any movement, that naughtiness movement?
Oh, I remember I was in class 5th. Somebody hit me on my eye and I broke his head. And instead of I apologizing to him, his whole family came to our house to say sorry because I told him I'll roger you because you've broken my eye. Right, so these are the days you remember because you've been naughty and you've been doing all this.
So how would you define yourself? So if you see there are two type of people. एक होता है जो बोलता है मेरी रैगिंग हुई है पर मैं अपने आगे वालों की रैगिंग नहीं करूँगा, अच्छी लाइफ उनकी नहीं करूँगा. दूसरा टाइप
my only thing is I love people to party with. So I have a lot of friends, but true friends are only, I always say you have few friends you can count on your fingers. Rest are friends, but they are acquaintances. Right? You know them and they call themselves friends and you also call them. So I am one guy I always enjoy and I party with my friends. Even in COVID time, I have met all my friends. Every week we have a party. COVID or no COVID, we always say that let's meet. We don't know when the call will come to go up. So one should enjoy life till the last.
So tell us about Hitachi System Micro Clinic, sir.
Yeah, so see, Hitachi acquired my company in 2014. And that was the turning point for me as well as of my employees who are working with us, because as an individual, you can't grow. And being a first-time entrepreneur, you can only grow till such time what money you have. So Hitachi gave us the impetus and we grew 50% year on year for last 7 years. And Hitachi brought a brand name. With that, we got the best of people, because in India, people want to work with a big brand. And Hitachi being a big brand, we got the best of resources to work with us. And as Hitachi Micro Clinic, we are into 4 domains of business. We are into system integration, and system integration comprises of hardware sales, security sales, services, and cloud services. And so I am now retiring on 31st December 2020 after fulfilling my dream of being an entrepreneur and taking my organization to the next level. And I was lucky that I was the only person in the IT business who was acquired by a large conglomerate called Hitachi. So this is what Hitachi did to me.
Very nice. So how was your journey as an entrepreneur? And when did you thought to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, since childhood I wanted to work on my own, but being in a service class family, it was very difficult. My father worked with LIC and my uncles worked with banks, and my cousins also worked with banks. So being the only son, my father wanted me to join what he was doing best, was joining LIC, which I never wanted to do. So I worked with Xerox and I graduated, so I'm just a graduate. I have no other degree other than graduation degree from Delhi University of BCom Honours. And then I started my journey with Xerox, worked with them for 3 years, from 82 to 85, left them, joined Raychem, worked with Raychem for 5 years, and then worked with Computer Point. BK Modi had bought Computer Point for 2 years. And 91, whatever money I had, which was close to 1,50,000 was my PF money, I started the venture called Micro Clinic. And those days, as we had paucity of funds, we were only into services. And the services were provided, we were only 3 employees when we started the company, me, my driver, and the engineer, right? So I never put a designation in my card. So I was also a driver, a delivery boy, an engineer, a salesman, and so-called director of a 3-member company. So in the very first year, we could do 14 lakhs worth of service business. And in 93, we made it private limited company. So those days, we had taken vans, Omni vans, and the cost of van was less than the cost of the phone, which we had installed in the vans. And our motto was life after death within 4 hours. So that meaning was that we could resurrect a PC within 4 hours. So we used to send the vans to the respective location, and customer could call, and we were giving services, because HCL and Wipro in 91 used to take 3 to 4 days giving service. So we revolutionized the services. But people never took us seriously. We kept working. And we kept saying that till the time our 2 ends are met. And those days, because first time entrepreneur, no bank gives you money, and you don't have anything to hypothecate, because if you go to your father, he'll throw you out, because he'll say, my old man, how will I survive if you blow my money off? So we kept borrowing money at 2 to 3% per month. And we realized that that's the only way to grow the business. So in 1995, Dr. Solomon came to India, which was an antivirus company, and we started selling security. So we separated the company. In 96, we called it a Micro Clinic Software Company and Micro Clinic India Private Limited. The whole focus was to focus on the respective business lines which you're doing. So people make mistakes. They bring everything under one company, and then they try to mix things, which never works. Because unless and until you're not focused, things will not move. And 2004, we changed our motto, because we realized that more than services, now it's solutions. So we may change the logo of our company, and we said where solutions are born. So from the plus sign of Micro Clinic, people used to think we are doctors, and we moved to a green and blue star, because that was the concept for. And in 2014, Hitachi acquired us. So I became a rich man after Hitachi acquired me. Till that time, I was only struggling to make my 2 ends meet, because in business, you can't withdraw money. You can keep growing, but you have to keep putting money back in the kitty. So this is my journey. So I'm a simple graduate, so you don't need to have larger degree. I was in sales because a graduate can only get into sales, right? And I never wanted to become an accountant, because being BCom Honours, you could have become an accountant, right? But then you can't grow. That's my story.
So when you told your father that you want to leave your job and start your journey as an entrepreneur, what was the reaction of your father?
Okay, see, I was getting a good salary, and when I was leaving, I had 1 son and my twins were born. So I had 3 children, and my father said, if you leave the job and get into business, and if you fail, don't come back to us. So I said, okay, I'll never come back to you. He said, what will you do? I said, nothing. If I survive, fine. If I don't survive, I will look for a job. But it's very difficult what you say and what you do is very difficult. You can't go back and do somebody's job once you are an entrepreneur. And if you're a failure once, people don't expect you to do well for their business also. So they look to you as a question. So it's a gamble, right? And I've been lucky. God has been kind to me that I survived, and we are talking with each other today in a different way. But yes, it's difficult because every day I used to take care that my twins were born. I had to carry the milk for them, and whatever I used to earn that day was milk for them, and then the next and the next. So life has been tough, but one has to fight the life, and then God helps you. So I basically, God has been very kind.
So more the risk, more the profit, and same goes for your journey. You took out your entire 1.5 lakh of saving and put it into your business to start the journey. How difficult was it to take such a decision?
There's not entire saving. I had only 1.5 lakh savings, so that's not enough. See, if I was doing my own business, I would have still been working and not retired. Because once you start a business and you're a first-time entrepreneur, you can't grow much. You can grow, but you can't grow much because of the paucity of funds, and you do not have collaterals to give it to the bank. So whatever bank people say, the money they give you only if you are a creditable guy, and creditableness comes if you have property and asset, right? And to a startup, an entrepreneur like us, you don't get. But now things are changing. You have a lot of startups coming in. There are a lot of VCs who are willing to bet on you, willing to give. But I'm talking about 30 years back, there was no concept like that. So it was only bank which was the person who could give you money.
So was there any backup plan before you started your journey as an entrepreneur?
See, as I told you, there is nothing called backup plan. Backup plan is if you fail, what you do? You go back to the job, right? And will you be able to do justice there? Answer is yes or no. I have not experienced, so I am not the right guy to say it. But if I had failed and gone back to the job, I would have been able to answer this question better. But I have survived, so that question does not hold good.
So how is your journey as an entrepreneur till date?
See, it's very good. Because one, you are the master of yourself. You can't accuse anybody that this went wrong, that went wrong. There were good and bad. Worst part happened to me in 2010. We were cheated by our own manager in Rajasthan and we were wiped off. But then there are good people. So there are good distributors who will support you. My message to all the youngsters is when you do business, remember 3 things should be very, very clear to you. It's your ethics. If you're doing business, don't cheat people. Because at the end of the day, it'll come back to you. Be straightforward to your employees and be straight to your customers and suppliers. And if you are, they will help you. So in 2010, whatever happened to me was a disaster. I would have been washed away. But thanks to the distributors, thanks to the customer, and thanks to my employees who kept waiting for their salaries for a few months, right? And distributor said, okay, I will give you more money to do business and I know you will pay me back. And customers stood by us. So I always say that if you are ethical, if you are true to your business, because if you are true to your business, rest will follow. Unfortunately, today everybody wants to make a faster buck. In business, there is nothing called fast buck. You can only make fast buck by doing wrong things, right? And that eventually you will pay somewhere or the other. So we were lucky. We came out of 2010. I acquired another company in 2013 and Hitachi bought my company in 2014, and these were the 4 values. They went to customers, they went to distributors, they went to employees, and everybody gave a A+ report. So they acquired us. So there are 40,000 SI partners across the country. It's big, small, medium. So we were the only ones selected. So there must be something good we've been doing. That's why we got selected.
So apart from financial crisis, what all challenges did you face as an entrepreneur in the starting of your journey?
See, challenges are on every. Finance is very important. But more than finance is the quality of people and the training. Because see, we are all first-time entrepreneurs. We can only do A, B, C. We can't do A to Z what other big MNCs can do to a customer. But yes, if you work for a company like us and an MNC, there's a big difference. Guys who can work with companies like ours learn every part of the business, meaning they are good salespeople, they understand how delivery is done, they understand how installation is done, they know pre-sales, right? And they know finance. And that's a learning cycle. So if one person wants to be 180 degree, he should join a smaller organization, work with them, understand from them, right, as to how business runs. So I tell my employees that I have made you business people. Because the employee will come and leave. They're only concerned about themselves, right? An entrepreneur is more concerned about the organization first and then the people. So that's the philosophy and the need. What we put is that you work with us, we assure you will have a 180-degree angle, and which most of the SIs do. Because they are small, so they don't have many people to do things. So you learn if you want to. If you want to say, okay, my job is only to sell and nothing more, or my job is only to service, then you might not join that organization and you will not grow also. So mantra is that you face problems every day, right? But you should have the right mix of people who are willing to sweat it out with you.
So as you have told us that all the family members in your family are from service class. So how difficult was it to choose the path which was entirely different from your family background and start a journey as an entrepreneur?
See, it is basically from inside. Yeah. Nobody teaches you to do business or become an IS officer or to become a ABC. See, it's what you want, dream of. That's why most of the people don't like their jobs because they don't want to do that job. But they're forced to do their job to make their 2 ends meet, right? So I was very clear, I'm willing to fight it out, but I want to be an entrepreneur myself. And I knew I have no money. And I knew there will be a lot of challenges. But yes, I said, if I think that way, God will also help me. So I always remember, if you think what you want to do, ultimately God makes you do that thing. So it says now your thought process travels. So I'm a firm believer that whatever you think will happen to you. So think positive and things will happen positive. And you have to be lucky. 80% is luck. 20% is all what you call administrative skill set, financial skill set, which I personally feel everybody has it. So you have to be lucky.
So as we have seen that every entrepreneur, especially in the starting of his journey, he feels like quitting again and again. So what is that motivating point which pushes you to continue your journey and be a successful entrepreneur?
Also, I have a friend in US with his sister I started this company. He's the richest guy in US now. Right? The initial investment was done by them, but in 93 she got married, she moved out of business and they gave the business to me. So I had to arrange all the money to pay them back for debt. So that's the reason. They gave me a self-start, right? And that start today, we could make it so big.
So is there any mentor in your life?
I have one mentor. He's my boss who used to be with me when I started my career, from whom I learned the nuts and bolts of doing business. And I always remember one thing is that be humble, be grounded, right? Rest is destiny. It will take you there one day.
So what would be your advice to young entrepreneurs? Should they start their journey right after graduation, or should they first gain experience from job and then start their journey?
So it's always better to work somewhere for the first 3-4 years to learn the intricacies of the business. So how finance works, how service works. So it depends which industry you're joining, but every industry has these verticals and you have to make sure that you understand all the nitty-gritties of those verticals. Right? It might take you 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. Whatever time it takes, get into that, learn it, earn some money, because without that little money, how will you start your business? If you come from a rich family and your father is there to support you or your uncle is there to support you, then it's different. So my both sons are in business, right? But because I had made money and I had helped them to get into that business. And both are into IT. One runs Apple stores in India and the other is an AI business. So it all depends. Right? I was not that lucky as my children are. I had to start from scratch and struggle. Because of all the different things happening in life, I have still 3 stents in my heart, right? Which happened to me when I was the youngest guy as per the doctor in 97 when I got the first stent. So, but then I was never scared. I said, you were born to fight it out, fight it out. You'll die one day, na? So if you keep saying, I have stent now, I will die, you will die. So think positive. I said, whatever has happened for good. Because I was very bulky, so I trimmed down myself. I said, if I have to work hard and do something in life, I should remain active in life. So 4th day after my angioplasty, I was back to work.
So what all lesson have you learned till date in your professional journey?
I have learned one lesson is that organization might be 2,000 people, but pillars are 5 or 7 in your company. And if those 5 pillars of your company are strong, your company will survive. But if you don't have pillars and you think all the employees of your company are pillars, you're bound to die one day. Because that pillar will not take the load when the load is required to be taken. Right? That's one thing I learned. Second thing is, I've seen that today's generation is more concerned about themselves first than the organization. Right? They're saying my house is fine, so I am fine. Hell with the company, and if company doesn't do well, I can switch over to the next company. That is a very, very scary part, right? Because it should not happen. I've told you, I worked with 3 organizations in 11 years, and then I started it and never looked back. So my message to them is like, if you're joining an organization, do your homework before you join the organization. Because I've never seen any organization perfect. Every organization has something good, something bad. So if you want to look at the bad side, don't join the organization. If you see the good part of it, join the organization and you will survive, and the organization will also survive. So when the chips are down of the organization, people normally leave. Right? They say that organization is going to die, what will I do? But they don't realize that it is because of them the organization is dying. They have not done justice to their work. So if everybody does justice to their work, why will organizations fail? Organizations fail because people are there. Organizations are success because people are there. So at the end of the day, I always say people. If people are good, organizations are good. People are bad, organizations shit.
So as you said that the young generation is only after money and shortcuts. So what would you suggest? Is there any shortcut which they can find to be a successful entrepreneur?
There is no shortcut. I'm 60 plus now and I've never seen any shortcut. Only shortcut I've seen is if you come from a father who is pretty rich. Yes, that's a shortcut. He can get you into business. How good you are depends after you start doing the business. So if you're not qualified to do the business, my both sons are engineers. Okay, and that's how I told them, okay, do this business. It's good for you. Right? So you have to do what you're capable of. Today, everybody follow our friends. So whatever our friends do, we say, okay, if he's doing well, I should also do this job without knowing what are the attributes he has and what are the attributes I have. So that is very, very difficult. So I personally feel every person I see who comes for interview, I ask them, why you want to join sales? He said, because there's no other job available for us. Right? That's why sales is the easiest way out. Yes, it's true. You can get into a sales job, but it's one day in and second day out because it's all about number game. My thing to every young kids are that keep your eyes are open. Right? There in this country, there are going to be humongous opportunities. A lot of opportunities going to come. Right? Because we're going to become a manufacturing hub. We are smarter people than the world. Indians are far, far smarter than any. So that is the confidence every child should have, that I am from a country where I think my country has smartest of people, and we are smarter than the Europeans, the Americans, you name any. Other than Chinese, they have started competing with us as good as we are, but they still don't know English, which our children know much better than that. Right. So my message to them is never feel scared. You're born in a country which is definitely going to do well because of the Prime Minister doing so many things. And secondly, we are smarter people. And if you see US, who's who in any organization is an Indian. So that should inspire you to say that, okay, we can be there tomorrow because we are Indians.
Is there any checklist of do's and don'ts you suggest while starting your journey as an entrepreneur?
Checklist is here. It's you who defines that I can do A, B, C, I can't do E, F, G. So if I have to partner, I should partner a guy who can do EFG. So there's no list. List you make it once you start doing it. Then you realize, okay, this I did wrong and I can correct it. It's a journey. You can't define the journey today. Journey keeps changing, depends on the environment, right? Nobody thought COVID will happen and everything will change. The whole lifestyle will change. People mindset will change. So journey has to be defined at the moment. And the moment, whenever the moment comes, change your journey or change your style of work.
One line that defines you.
So my one line to the youngsters is that be faithful to yourself. Right? You know yourself better than anybody else. If you are faithful to yourself, right, you will be faithful to everybody. Unfortunately, and that's all. Meaning, don't look at others. Look at yourself because you know yourself better than anybody. So don't ask anybody about yourself. You know the answer for you. Do that. Rest is destiny.
And what about you, sir? How would you define yourself?
I played my inning, man. I want to go and give back to the society. So I will do certain things which will help the society do better in life.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.